Alright, it's been about 20 minutes that we've added the potatoes to the pot, and yep, they're cooked. See that? Curry chicken, oh my god, you guys, is ready. I wish you guys could smell this. Is about 2 pounds of chicken. I had some leftover chopped up chicken. This was a whole chicken, by the way, so there are different pieces in here, which is perfect. Curry chicken, I prefer to cut my pieces smaller versus when making stew chicken. It just tastes better in my opinion. It's curry chicken, so you want to taste that curry everywhere. And of course, you want to taste your seasonings. So again, I'm using a whole chicken, which has different parts of the chicken in here. But if I was not using a whole chicken, dark meat, such as leg and thigh, because it takes the seasoning better. First thing I'm adding is about 2.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons all-purpose seasoning, 2.5 teaspoons of chicken seasoning, teaspoons of this ginger, garlic, and pimento seasoning by Grace. I have this on my Amazon storefront, but you can find this in any Caribbean store. If you don't have this ginger, garlic, and pimento seasoning, that's fine. You can leave it out. I personally just enjoy the flavors of this seasoning. About 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and a dash of salt. 1 teaspoon of the ginger paste, but if you have regular ginger on hand, a small piece, crushed preferably, a few pimento seeds. I hate these whole, so I'm just gonna ground mine up, but of course, use this to however you prefer. Now I'm going to only add about 1/2 of what I crushed in here. This is about, I would say, 1.5 teaspoons. Whenever you crush pimento seeds or allspice berries, whatever you know them as, in my opinion, they become a little bit more potent or stronger. You definitely would not need as much using the actual seeds. I'm going to add about 2.5 teaspoons of curry powder. In this bowl, we do have thyme, 1 small onion, 1/2 of a sweet red pepper, 1 large clover. You can use 2 cloves of garlic, 2 sprigs of green onions or scallions, and I did chop these using my vegetable chopper, but if you have fresh blend on hand, feel free to use that, which is basically everything in this bowl thrown in a blender. So I'm going to add 1/2 of this to the chicken, and I'm going to reserve 1/2 for later once we start cooking. Optional, but I'm going to just add just a dash of oil in here just to help the seasonings to spread and to penetrate better in the meat. So now I'm going to combine this, and then we're going to leave this to marinate. You guys, this recipe is also featured in my hard copy cookbook, A Taste of Yard and Abroad, which is available for purchase on Amazon, and I will list a link to that below. So now we're just gonna leave this to marinate for about 3 to 4 hours, and this smells so delicious already. The seasonings are turning up in here for sure. I placed my pot over a medium-high heat just so that it could fully heat. I added enough oil to coat the pot, and I'm going with a tiny amount of the chopped onions and garlic and pepper that I had earlier, just a tiny amount like so. And then I'm going to add the curry powder in here to toast. Now this is just going to add some extra flavor to the curry, and I'm going to add in about 2.5 teaspoons of curry powder to toast or burn, as us Jamaicans will call it. But we don't actually burn the curry, you guys. It's just a saying. That's just what we say in Jamaica. But in honesty, or in all fairness, we are technically toasting the curry just to heighten the flavor. I'm just gonna stir this, and we're gonna toast this for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Do not burn your curry. I repeat, you do not want to burn this because it will result in a nasty and a bitter flavor. So 30 seconds to 1 minute, and then we're going to add in the chicken. Alright, so when I first put my curry in the pot, I don't touch it, I don't do nothing to it. I leave it alone. For a while, you guys are going to see that I'm not going to add any water to the pot. So, right now, for the very first time, this is about 1 minute after putting in the chicken. I'm going to stir it once and then cover the pot and allow the meat to sweat and release its own juices. You don't want to add too much liquid to curry chicken or too much water, and then you drown out the seasonings and drown out that nice curry flavor. Alright, so we're going to stir once and then cover the pot. I have covered my pot, and I'm going to check this in about 3 to 5 minutes or so. And all you'll see me do is just stir the pot throughout the entire time. This is kind of sort of like browning the chicken, if that makes sense. But it should start releasing juices, which is why it's important to cover the pot. Alright, I'm gonna bring the camera a little closer. I hope you guys are able to see this. But do you see that the chicken started releasing its own juices? That's the reason, again, the importance of covering the pot. And don't bother the chicken too much. So I'm gonna stir once again and then cover my pot for a few more minutes. Alright, so I'm going to cover, leave this for another 3 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to start seasoning our pot. So my chicken has been cooking for a total of about 15 minutes so far. Let me tilt the pot. You guys see all the liquid that already. I added a tiny amount of water to the bowl that I seasoned the chicken in, just to get all the excess seasonings that's left over in the bowl from here. I would say this is about 1.5 cups of water. Not even, yeah, it's probably about 1 cup or a little less under 1.5 cups. Already I have liquid in here, so again, not too much water. You don't want to drown these seasonings out. Now I'm going to go in with the remainder of seasonings that we stashed earlier. And I did already put my piece of thyme in the pot. So there is already thyme in here. And we're just going to add the rest of seasonings. I'm also going to go in with the remainder of the grounded pimento seeds. So, at this point in time, you guys, everybody's pot is different. Everybody's pot is different. I may show you something, and once you try it, it may come out differently or taste differently. You definitely want to taste your pot and adjust your seasonings as necessary. So, curry is not supposed to be fresh. and it's definitely not supposed to be salty. But curry don't taste good when it's fresh, so you definitely want to taste your pot, adjust the salt content in here. Even if you need more curry powder, go ahead and add it. In the past, I never used to season my curry chicken. And when I say in the past, I mean like maybe like 5 or so years ago. I had stopped seasoning my curry chicken with the curry powder because the brand of curry powder that I was using, or that I was able to find where I was living, it was weak. So it had the color, but once you put it in the pot, the taste wasn't there. So I used to skip adding the curry powder to seasoning the chicken and only add it in the pot. That's not how I was taught how to cook curry chicken, but I had to make do because of my situation. I was able to find back Better Pack Curry, which is a big brand in Jamaica. Jamaicans live by this thing here, but of course use any curry that you feel free to use. And the strength is there, so I went back to seasoning my chicken with the curry. And of course, if I taste the pot and the curry flavor is a little weak at this point in time, go ahead and add anywhere from a half to 1 teaspoon of curry powder. But you definitely want to do it once your pot is going into simmer mode, just to ensure that the curry flavor in here is okay. So I tasted my pot, everything tastes fine. So what I'm gonna do is, at this point in time, I'm gonna leave it for about 5 minutes and then come back and add the potatoes and then allow it to finish from there. I also like to add a whole uncut Scotch bonnet pepper. If you're not able to find Scotch bonnet pepper, its cousin is the habanero pepper. Do not cut it unless you want your pot to be nice and spicy, but when you leave it cut, it lets off a really nice aroma that adds some flavor to your food. So just to add some extra flavor to our curry, I added 1 whole Scotch bonnet pepper, and now I'm going to leave this to simmer for about 10 minutes before adding the potatoes. Alright, we are at the 10-minute mark. And now I'm just going to go in with the potatoes. I had my potatoes in water earlier just to prevent them from changing color. No special reason. Put this in. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you guys, I lowered my heat to a medium. You don't want to cook this on too high heat because you will burn it. So I'm cooking over a medium to medium low heat. So at this point in time, I'm going to cover back my pot. The potatoes are going to release its own liquid also to add to the gravy in here. So I'm just going to cover back this pot, and once the potatoes are done cooking, then our curry chicken is ready. Alright, it's been about 20 minutes that we've added the potatoes to the pot, and yep, they're cooked. See that? So I'm gonna cut off my heat. This curry chicken, oh my god, you guys, is ready. I wish you guys could smell this. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is to remove this pepper from the pot. My little one is eating from this pot, so yeah, we don't need a spicy pot. Look at that, you guys. Gravy has body, because I don't like my curry gravy too runny. Gravy has body. Oh, everything is well cooked. The flavors obviously look like everybody got married in here. You know what I mean? Yeah, you. Okay, so this is ready for some rice and some veggies. you guys, that is a wrap. I'm having this curry chicken. Well, this is actually my husband's plate. So we're having a curry chicken with white rice and broccoli, but I so wish this rice was roti and pumpkin. That's also another great option to go with curry chicken, but of course, you know I'm going to tell you to have anything your heart desire. Alright, so again, we cannot end the video by not saying you never have to follow anyone's recipe to a T. Change things up if you must, do things how you like. I'm just showing you the recipe, now take this and run with it. Alright, yes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, share this video with a friend or a family member, especially if you think this will be helpful to them. And of course, tell them, come over and join the cooking fam. We're always looking to welcome new cooking friends. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching and for tuning in today. And of course, see you in the next video. Happy cooking.